Okay, Tov. Today's daf is daf Huf in Shiur. Says we went for Chanukah based on Sumas of Shiva. Yesterday began the new parak, which actually begins the discussion of Shavuos. We said at the very beginning of the Masechta that there's four kinds of Shavuos. Remember the parsha of in Vayikra Parak Hey that talks about Shavuos also talks about Tumas Mikdash V'Kadshav and talks about Shavuos Eidus, where you swear you don't know any testimony and then afterwards you admit it. So in all those cases, whether it's Shavuos Eidus or Tumas Mikdash V'Kadshav, we discussed there's a carbon olive yored. If you're over on that, if you forgot, then remember it afterwards, will be discussed in detail. And then there's this parsha of Shavuos Bitoy. Pasuk says, "O nefesh ki sishava levate bisvasayim." If you utter with your lips lahara lahativ, negative or positive, l'chashevate adam. We'll talk about this later on in a few more days about what that includes. Ashevate, is that a klal prat or is that a ribu yamiyat? And b'shvuim v'nelim menavu yadav Hashem v'lachs meila. And if you make them, and if you were guilty of any of these things, then you bring a carbon olive yored. Now, as we'll see, when it comes to a shvua, if you violated on purpose, there could even be malchus if there was a maasa involved. If you did something, for example, I swear I'm not going to eat a tuna sandwich today, and then I eat the tuna sandwich today. If I was warned, ate him, I would get malchus for that. If I forgot, I made a mistake about it. I forgot that I made the neder and then I made the shvu and then I violated it. Then would be this carbon olive yored that we discuss here. So in terms of shvuas, if you look quickly, this parak is the third parak is called Shavuos Shtayim. The next parak, the fourth parak, talks about a different kind of a shvua, which is Shavuos Eidus, if you deny testimony. Then we have another shvua called Shavuos Pekadon. If somebody gave you something to guard or watch, whatever, or you borrowed it, or you stole it, or whatever you took from somebody, and then you deny that you have it, you lied, you swore about it, and then you admit it afterwards. That's also a kind of shvuah we'll talk about. But this shvuah's bitui that we're talking about here in Vayikra Hey, which is what I said. I said we have shvuah's bitui. I swear I'm going to do something or not do something. We have shvuah's eidus, shvuah's pekadon, and we have what's called shvuah's shav. Shvuah shav is when totally false shvuah, where it's clear from the very outset that this can't be. What's the example? This wall is made out of gold, right? It can't be. That's a shvuah shav, and for that you get malchus, even though there's no masa, as we'll see, because the pasuk says specifically that you're going to get malchus for that. So we understand that there's shvuah's bitui, which is also called, we'll see, shvuah's sheker, could be shvuah sheker. You lie about something, that you're going to do something or not do something. We'll discuss that. Then there's Shavuos Shav, where I swear this wall is made out of gold. Shavuos Eidus, which is in another parak, and Shavuos Pekadon. Those are the four various Shavuos that we have. And we have an eder. What's the basic difference between a Shavuot and an eder? A Shavuot is I swear I'm going to do something or not do something. I swear I'm going to give you something. Not going to take you something from you. I'm talking about me. A Shavuos neder. A neder is when you make the item. The item itself is usher to me like a carbon. That we discussed in the Dorim in detail, and we'll talk more about it now. Tarabanan. Mifta shvua. Mifta, which is, what is mifta? Bitois fasayim. Pasuk says, right, the Pasuk says, if you swear levate bis fasayim, again, what does the Pasuk say? Pasuk vav. O nefesh ki sishava levate bis fasayim. Lahar lahitiv, l'chal asher yevate ha'adam b'shvua, that you utter. That's called the shvuas bitoi. Is that only on the future or even on the past? We're going to talk about that. Tanabanan. Mifta is a shvua. What is isar? What is isar? So he says Isar is also a shvua, mifta shvua and Isar shvua. So what is Isar? What is the nature of the prohibition of an Isar according to this sheet in the Gemara? If you say Isar is a shvua, you're chayiv. Imlav potter. If not, you're potter. Now the Gemara says right away, what do you mean if you say? You just start off by saying mifta is a shvua and Isar is a shvua. What's the nature of the Isar of an Isar? If you say it's like a shvur, you're chayiv. You're chayiv, meaning if you lied about it, you're chayiv a carbon olive yored, as we'll discuss. As the pasuk said in Vav, pasuk Vav, you're chayiv a carbon olive yored. But what do you mean if you say Isser is a shvur, you're chayiv im lapot? You just said Isser is a shvur. Imata omer Isser shvur, v'armer Isser is a shvur. You just said Isser is a shvur. Right, mifta is a shvur, shvur is a shvur, and Isser is another shvur. Amar Rabbi Hachagav, that's what it means. It's like this: mifta shvur. Mifta is another word for shvua. That means I swear I'm going to do something or not do something. Isar is mitvas b'shvua. Isar means an attachment to a shvua by saying this is like that. Now we'll see by Nidarim that does work. That does work, right? But by a shvua, if I made a shvua that I'm not going to eat this, and I say I'm not going to eat item A, and I say okay, B should be like A, that would be mitzvah shvua. That would be grabbing on or holding on or attaching yourself. Isar's mat v'shvua. Isar, what's the nature of what's the nature of the prohibition of Isar? Isar, imatomer matas b'shvua. If you say that attaching something to a shvua is like saying a shvua, kamosi shvua pivdam, then you're chayav. Imla potter. As we'll see, Abaye says that an attachment to a shvua is like a shvua. If I swore that I'm not going to eat something, the item A, and then I say, you know what? Item B should be like A, that's good enough. That's also like a shvua, according to Abaye. We'll see. Not the way we hold. That's what Abaye says. Rashi says, Isar mitzvah shvua, Isar alai kikerzu, hareu keilu. If you say Isar alai kikerzu, it's as if Kamisha nishbar ala kikar on one kikar, v'chaz v'amar ala kikar, and it's like I swore on A, and I'm saying B should be like A. That means that's an attachment. If I say, right, Isar by itself means an attachment. It doesn't mean a real shvua. It means I'm attaching this item to that prior shvua. And according to Abaye, that would work. How do we know mifta means shvua? The Chassidus says, "O nefesh." That's our pasuk we just quoted. "O nefesh ki sishba levate bisvasayim." Right? That means that you know that mifta is a shvua. Isar nami. Well, Isar also is the same. Why do you say that Isar, according to Abaye, Isar is a attachment to a shvua? It's not a real shvua. Now, how do you know mifta is a shvua? Because it says "O nefesh ki sishba levate." Isar nami does kol neder v'chol shvuas Isar. Isar is also a shvu of sort. How do you know that Isar is only an attachment to shvu? The chsiv, oh asra Isar al nafsha b'shvua. Oh, you bound yourself on her. She bound herself with a shvua. Sounds like she bound herself to something else. So mifta adam b'shvua. So you could say the same thing for mifta. Why do you say mifta is a shvua and Isar is only an attachment to a shvua? By mifta it also says l'chol sheyivate adam b'shvua. So it sounds also could be an attachment. Elam Rabaya, how do we know that mifta itself is a shvua? Mifta shvua mehalchab in this pasuk. Pasuk says at the beginning of Matos, if this woman made a shvua, when she gets married, she has an adarim, or mifta svaseh, or the utterance of her mouth, asher asra al nafsha, bilu shvua lo kam. It doesn't say anything about shvua. You're right. In Vayikra it says, right, kisish belavate, or it says, Asra Isar al nafsha b'shvua, also in beginning of Matos. So you can say Asra Isar al nafsha b'shvua. It says l'chol sheyivate adam b'shvua also. It says lashon bitu with shvua. It says lashon Isar b'shvua. So you can say it's an attachment. But in this pasuk it says imayosi leish from derela omitzvah shashar Asra al nafsha b'shvua. It doesn't say anything about shvua. So you see that mifta means a shvua by itself. It doesn't mean an attachment. Whereas Isar is an attachment.
Could Isar be standing by itself? Is there an example where Isar stands by itself?
Yeah, so if you hold that attachment by itself, the way Rashi reads, the Rashi I quoted before, Divra Maschel Isar mitzvah shua, Isar alai kikar zu, hareu kamisha nishba la kikar. It's as if I swore on A, v'chaz v'amar al kikar acher, harei zeh kazeh, sheitves es hasheni berishon, even though the first one wasn't really there. But technically, right, first one was really, it says it's keilu. If you hold that Isar al kikar zeh, what is Isar? Is maptish shvua. Isar, like, in other words, the word Isar itself means an attachment. An attachment. So basically, by neder we know if I say this is usher to me like that, that better be usher already, right? Here Rashi is not mashma that way. Rashi is mashma. Even if you just say Isar like kikar zu, it's like I'm attaching it to a phantom shvua. It could be. It's not so clear, but I'm saying it without specifying the specific Isar. I'm not saying this. I swear I'm not going to eat this. I'm saying this should be like that. That's an attachment. And according to Abaye, that would be like a shvua. It would be like a shvua. But Maya Saratzma, how did she ask herself in the case of mifta? But mifta alone is a shvua. Mifta alone is a shvua, whereas Isar is an attachment to a shvua, according to Abaye. Rava says, no, no, that's not good enough. Even if you had a thing, even if I had said, I swore item A is usher, and then later on I say that B should be like A, Isar, that B should be like A, that wouldn't do it. That's not good. Isar, that he says that an attachment to a shvua is not like a shvua at all. This is what he means in the Bryce one. The Bryce says, Mifta shvua, Isar, Isar, Ata Omer. What does that mean? Mifta is a shvua. Isar nami is a shvua. They're both synonyms of shvua. Mifta means shvua, Isser means a shvua. What's the nature? Asrei de Isser. What's the nature of the prohibition of Isser? So Isser can go both ways. Isser is like a powerful word. Shvua means shvua. Neder means neder. Mifta means shvua. What is Isser? Isser can go both ways. Hitilakasa be neder l'shvua. The word Isser is found between the word neder and between the word shvua in the same pasuk. Why? Because it depends how you say it. Hotzia b'lasha neder neder. Isser is a kind of if you say, I buy myself with a neder, then that's a neder. B'lashan shvua, a shvua, it depends how you say it. Heichani tilu, where did the pasuk, where do you see the word, where do you see that word, Isar is between neder and shvua? Pasuk says, in base isha nadara, if she swore in her husband's house, o asra Isar, or she bound herself al nafsha b'shvua. So you see that pasuk, Isar is between the word neder, between the word shvua. And therefore it depends how you say it. And Rashi says, if you said it b'loshen shvua, could go Isar shelo ochel kikar zeh, that's a shvua. If you say b'loshen neder shamar Isar kazu alai, shuloshen no, Jim. That's how you say it. Isar could work both ways. It means I bind myself, but I could say I bind myself. I bind Isar shelo ochel shvua. That means a shvua because a shvua is on myself. Isar shelo ochel kikar zeh, that's a shvua. Isar kazu alai, that this should be usher to me like a carbon. Then it's a neder. Then it's a neder. So the word Isar can go both ways. If you say it the lashon, it doesn't. You don't have to say the word shvua or neder. The word Isar can be both. If you say Isar that I won't eat this, that means a shvua that I want to. If I say Isar that this is usher, that this item is usher, that if I say Isar this item on me, that's a neder. So it can work both ways. So Rava says an attachment doesn't work. I just can't say this when it comes to a shvua. I can't say this is like that. That doesn't work. By neder we'll see you could. But according to Rava, an attachment doesn't work when it comes to shvua. The word Isar itself means a shvua, or it can be neder, depending how you say it. They both, according to using Abai and Rava, Dietmar maftas b'shvua, Abai Omer kamotzi shvua mipivdami. He says, listen, if you make an attachment, it's like you said a shvua. But Rava Omer lav kamotzi mipivdami. Meisvei kasha now on Rava. Eza Isar Omer Torah. We have a brisa which says, what's the Isar? What's that Isar Omer Torah? HaOmer, pasuk says, we just quoted, O Asra Yisrael nafsha b'shvua. HaOmer re'elai, I take it upon myself, shaloch al-basar v'shalosh. Now, that sounds like a shvua. Doesn't sound like a neder, right? It sounds like a shvua, but the Mefarshim say that that's not really what he said. We're not quoting the person who made the neder, HaOmer re'elai, but rather, right? Rather, we're not quoting him, but we were simply saying zelot tzitut lashon hanoder el lashon hatana. We're just saying that you forbade the food on you. Now you forbade it on yourself. Meaning, I take it upon myself. I'm not going to eat basar. I'm not going to eat meat. I'm not going to drink wine. When on this day, kiyom shemeis b'aviv, like the day of a yard site. Many people take upon themselves on a yard site that they're going to fast. Or kiyom shemeis b'ploni, or a day that a certain friend of his died. Or kiyom shener b'gedalia ben achikim, on Som Gedalia. Right? Now we'll talk about why Som Gedalia is mentioned over here. Kiyom shiroi Yerushalayim echabara, the day that you saw Churban Yerushalayim, people tear their clothes and they fast. In all those places, it's usher. Right? B'omer Shmuel was, and Shmuel explains that Bryce is saying, it's from that time that your father died, or that the person died, or something happened in your life that caused you to take upon yourself a fast, that you already had an neder there. So Bishlam Abaye, now what does that mean? You're saying that this should be usher to me like that day. So Bishlam Abaye, now we're here talking about a neder. This should be usher to me like that. Again, it's not shaloch basar. That wasn't his word. Shaloch basar, I swear I'm not going to eat. That's a shvua. He's just saying, he's just explaining it. That's what he means. But the menader said food should be usher to me like those days. That should be also fast like those days. So Bishlam Abaya minimafis beneder neder mafis with shvua. Since you see over here that if you attach a neder, again, a neder is almost always an attachment. This food should be ushered to me like a carbon or like something else that I made a neder on. So since matas beneder is a neder, since attaching words with attachment on a case of a neder is a neder, so matas shvua also. And so Abaya makes sense. So maybe you could say matas shvua also. Elo Rava who says matas shvua doesn't work. Kasha, how does this work? How does this work? Here you see matfis does work. Matfis does work. Attachment works. Rava will say no. Let's learn it this way. The aim mahachi. This is what you say. Ezo iser neder amatar, not ezo Not Ezu Isser Ha'omer B'Torah, meaning that Isser is like an attachment, but rather what's the Isser Neder? Because as Rava learned, Isser could either be Neder, could be Shvuah, could be both. It's not an attachment. If you say it like a Shvuah, it's a Shvuah. If you say it like a Neder, it's a Neder. Again, if I say Isser Kikar Se'olai, that's a Neder. If I said Isser, I'm not going to eat this bread, that's a Shvuah. So Rava will learn the brayso. Ezo isar neder amra Torah. Homer elai shloch abasar shloch shtam. Bekim shmeis ba'ava like a yard side. Kim shenerg ba'plani. A different yard side. If you had a neder, meaning you already made a neder that you're not going to eat this food, right? You're not going to eat the food. You're going to fast on the yard side, and you say today should be. Today should be usher to me. All food should be usher to me like the yard side day. That's a neder. My time, because the pasuk says, "Ishki yidor neder Hashem ad sheyidor b'davar neder." Again, how do you know that it has to be the way? You just can't say this food should be usher to me. This food should be usher to me. That's a neder, right? This food should be usher. I'm going on the food, not on me. Doesn't work because we learn from this pasuk, "Ishki yidor neder Hashem." Yidor neder. What's the lashon of yidor? Just say ki yidor Hashem. What's ki yidor neder? Ad sheyidor b'davar neder. You could a neder means I take an oath by comparing it to something else, and the top Tosas points out. Take the top Tosas. Afa gav the Rabba Nami moda the matis beneder keneder. The Misha Shlemi. Misha Marrein Nazar. Man says, Reuven says, I'm a Nazar. And Shimon sitting next to him said, me too. V'omer amani. That it does work. He didn't say, all he said was va'ani. V'omer ani. He said, v'chem min adorim. Come to the carbon avineder. Mikol makom parach l'Rabba. Amai the farish. The Isser the cross matvis. This is you say that again, the Brisa seems to say that Isser the pasuk means matvis. Rav Mashani, no, it's going on the Isser v'lo Mashani for Rav Mashani the lo koi Isser the cross. The Isser of the pasuk is talking about Isser of a neder, but he's saying it's not that it's not going on the pasuk. You want to say that the Isser when it says Isser in the Torah, it means an attachment. He says no, it means a neder itself. It means the neder itself. Right, the Rabbi Amaydam Farish, Mikom Parach LeRava, Amaydam Farish Isa the Kra Matvis, right? This he says sounds like his Matvis. Rabbi Sani, no, the Lokai Isa the Kra, the Lokai Isa the Kra. In other words, not going to this pasuk, which is Isa the Kra. The pasuk is speaking about a neder itself, not Matvis, or that the Isra that it says in the pasuk could be the Isra of a neder, not the Isra of a shvuah. So you can't say, in other words, you want to extrapolate and say, matas neder, matas shvuah. No, he says, we're talking here, you're not around matas at all. We're not talking about matas, we're talking about ezu isr neder on Torah, right? He says that the Rav Mashani delo koi I isr the kra, that he's not going to isr the kra. The isr the pasuk is speaking really about a neder, not about matas. Okay. Now the Gemara says Kiyom Shmeis Ba'aviv. Now, obviously, if you say this food is usher to me, I'm fair. Today I'm not going to eat any food, just like the yard side of my father. That's obvious. What's the chiddush in there? That's obviously a neder. It's a pshita. Kiyom Sheneg Gedai Ben Achikim Etzrachlei. The chiddush is this: that if you say the day this is usher to me, like the yard side of Gedalia, like Som Gedalia. In the case of Som Gedalia, you're usher to eat food anyway, even if you didn't take it upon yourself. It's also because it's a public fast. So kinot nami lavi aleh iser. It's not an iser. In other words, as we'll see, if you say this is usher to me like something which is, let's say I say, remember we had in the Darim, this is usher to me like pig meat, right? Like chazer. It's not a neder because you didn't ask for the price of its usher. So you might think that some Gedai is also like that. It's not an eder kamashmon that it is considered an eder, even though it's a public fast, but it doesn't have the same stringency, doesn't have the same power and strength as an isra in the Torah, like eating nosa or pigel or pig meat or something treif. And that's considered also like an eder. Rabbi Yochanan also agrees with Rava. Generally, that in Bachlokas Abai Rava we hold like Rava anyway, except for the 6 cases of Yal Kagam. But here we see that Rabbi Yochanan was a posting in Eretz Yisrael, also held like Rava. Why? The Chiyasa Rabban came from Eretz Yisrael. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, he said in Rabbi Yochanan that mifta lo ochalacha or isa lo ochalacha is a shvuah. He says both very clearly. Mifta lo ochalacha, that means I swear I'm not going to eat your food, or I'm not going to give you food, or isa lo ochalacha, the same thing. So he says clearly that mifta and isar are both synonyms of shvuah. Now, Rava added on, Isser could also be a neder if you say the lashon of neder. But if you said lashon of a shvua, a mifta that I'm not going to eat your food, or I'm not going to give you food, or Isser locha de bashvus. Kiyas Rav Dimi, Dimi Keretz Yisrael, Amar Rav Dimi, he said the following thing: Ochal v'lo ochal. This is what we talked about in the Mishnah. A man swears, I'm going to eat something, or I swear I'm not going to eat something. What is that? Ochal, we said that's a shvuas bitui, but that's called sheker. According to, we'll see, this is according to Rav Dimi and Rav Yochanan, that's a shvuas sheker, meaning ochal v'lo ochal is a sheker if I don't follow it. That's a shvuas sheker basar. So where's the los? I say, don't swear falsely. So if you swear you're going to eat something and then you don't eat it, or I swear I'm not going to eat something and I do eat it, there's a clear difference, because if I swear I'm going to eat something and I don't eat it, that's what? There's no masa there, right? There's a masa, so you're not going to get malchus for that. But apparently you would get a carbon. You would have chayav a carbon. That lechora is the shvuas bit that we're talking about in Vayikra that we started with. So if I swear I ate something, or I swear I didn't eat something, when I swear about the past, it's immediate. If I lied, it's immediate. It's not like I have to wait to see if I'm going to do something in the future. So he says that's a shvuah shav. Now that's not how we're going to say later on. We're going to say a different opinion. We said shvuah shav is I swear that this brick wall is made out of gold. That's shvuah shav, right? And which you're chayav malchus there too, even though it's a shvuah shein b'maseh. But he says that Rav Dimi and Rav Yochanan says if I talk about the future, that's called a shvuah sheker. That's a shvuas bitu, but it's a shvuah sheker. And as we said, if there's a masa involved, I swear I'm not going to eat it, and I eat it, that could be malchus. If there's no masa involved, it could just be a carbon. Fine. But achalti v'lo achalti, about the past, that's shvuah shav. What's the azhara? Where's the prohibition? Don't use Hashem's name in vain. You swear in God's name that you did eat something, you didn't eat something, and you lied. That's a shvuah shav. You get a malchus for that.
Isn't that a shvuah sheker?
So that's going to be a machlokes. Is that shvuah sheker? So he says. So Rav Dimi says that shvuah sheker is the future, and shvuah shav is the past. Not about the brick wall. Anything about the past. We're going to see different. There's machlokes about that. Konamos. What's this konamos? Which is a neder. I swear this should be also to me like a carbon. Konam is like another word for a carbon. Over b'loyachal dvaro. When it says loyachal dvaro, don't profane your words. That what does that mean? This thing should be. This food should be also to me like a carbon. And then if I eat it in the future, I profane my words, and I'm going to get malchus for that. Meisvei. Now Vikasha on what we just said. Shav v'sheker achadim. They're both the same. You just said that shav is about the past, sheker is about the future, right? Here he says they're both the same. My love, what does that mean? Midashav l'shav, just like shav is l'shavar. I swear that this brick wall is made out of gold. That's talking about the past, that it's here already. Right? My love is midashav l'shavar. Af sheker is also nami l'shavar. So sheker is also l'shavar. Alma achalti v'lo achalti is sheker. Achalti v'lo achalti is sheker. Not that ochal v'lo ochal is sheker, but achalti v'lo achalti is sheker. Says Midir, who says? Who says they're both about the past? Hakirisa. One's about the future, one's about the past. Again, Rav Dimi maintains that ochal v'lo ochal, the future is sheker, and achalti v'lo achalti about the past is shav. So what does it mean that the same? The Brisa said shav and sheker were the same. Hey, the bedibur echad, they were said at the same time. That's when Hashem prohibited us from Losishbi Liashaker and Losis Hashem Shav, maybe they were said at the same time. Kedatanya could learn Zachar v'Shomer b'dibur echad. We all know, we say that every Friday night. Zachar v'Shomer b'dibur echad. Hashem said, remember and guard or protect Shabbos at the same time. Remember, Mash ein hapeh yochol ledaber. Person can't speak two words at the same time. Umash ein ha'ozen yochol l'shmoa. And what the ear cannot hear. Opposed to what the women tell us, I can't hear two things at the same time. You better stop, right? You can't hear two things at the same time. You can process them one after another immediately. It's like a computer. We think a computer could do multitask. Multitask really just means that in the millisecond that it takes to do one thing, it could do something else in the second millisecond. It appears to us it's doing it at the same time. Can't do two things at one time. So the Gemara says, maybe that's what Shav and Shekers teach me. They're both said at the same time. Gemara says that's different. The reason why we said B'di Berecha could teach me a lesson, could Ravada Barava, Dam Ravada Barava, Nashim. Women are not chayiv usually in mitzvah seishes man grama, right? mitzvah sheishes man grama. But over here, noshim chayavos b'kiddashim, the chayiv in kiddush, even though it's a mitzvah say. Obviously, the lo saseis are all chayiv just like men, but in a mitzvah say of kiddush, they have to make kiddush too. Dvar Torah. The Omar Kral Zachav B'Shamar. Zachav B'Shamar, why? To teach me, even though women normally are not chayiv mitzvah seishes man grama, and obviously making kiddush on Friday night and Avdallah on Saturday night is mitzvah seishes man grama, but to teach the Zachav B'Shamar Dibrechet, Kol Sheshem Shmira, whoever is responsible, whoever is has the mitzvah of guarding Shabbos, meaning not violating Shabbos, Yeshem Shmira also has to remember it by making kiddush. These women hold isnu b'shmir, since they have to guard Shabbos, they have to keep their chayiv and mochas Shabbos, etc. They have to keep Shabbos properly. It's not mischir. They have to remember it also. So there's a reason why it says shamor v'zachar b'dibur echad. But what does that have to do with shav v'sheker? You want to say that shav is on the past, sheker is on the future. That could be. So why were they said at the same time? So what does that mean? Shav v'sheker are echad. They're both the same. Ella maybe means this, Kishem Shalok al Shav, just like you get Malchus on a Shvua Shav. If I swear that this brick is made out of gold, I get Malchus there. Kachlok Anami al Sheker, I'll swear also on Sheker, right? I'll get Malchus also on Sheker. The Gemara says, Klapilai, where are you going with this? Just the opposite. Shav, there's no mas involved. What is Shvua Shav? I swear this brick is made out of gold, right? Did I do anything? No. So there is a big chiddush that you get Malchus, right? So don't say, just like you get Malchus over there, you get Malchus also on Shvur Sheker. Shvur Sheker could involve a Maaseh, for example. We're saying that Shvur Sheker means the future now, right? So it could be, I swear that I'm not going to eat something and then I eat it. That's a Maaseh. So there it makes sense to say you should get Malchus. Where you go? Why are you learning from something which has no Maaseh at all, like this brick is made out of gold, to something which could have a Maaseh? Ela Emil this way. This is what it means. Kishem Shalok al Sheker, just like you get Malchus on Sheker, and on Sheker it makes sense why you should get Malchus. Why? Because if I swear I'm not going to do something and I'm not going to eat the tuna sandwich and I eat the tuna sandwich, there was a Maaseh there. You get Malchus there. Kachlo kanami al Shav. Yeshav. So the says Pshita. High love. In both cases, it's a lo saseh. And this lo saseh says, when it comes to Shvuah Shav, it says, if you swear in Shem's name in vain, on the Shav, kilo yinaka, God will not find you innocent. God will not cleanse you and clean you from the sin. Meaning, Shita, high love. So of course, maybe it means this: when you swear Shvuah Shav, there's no atonement at all. There's no atonement. You're not going to get Malchus at all. God's going to hold it against you, and Bezin will not punish you. Kamash Malon, Kedev Shani, like he's going to answer. We're going to see the dialogue between Rav Papa and the others in a few minutes on this page. Kamash Malon, Kedev Shani, Daf Chafalef, that he answered him no. That since it says Kilo Yinaka Hashem will not find you innocent. He will not cleanse you, but Bezin will cleanse you by giving you a punishment. That's the idea here. So that's one answer. In other words, so Rav Dimi is defending his position. What is his position? That ochal v'lo ochal is shvur sheker. That's a shvur sheker, right? That's the bitoy that you're going to get korban v'yored if you do it b'shogeg, and that you can get malchus for if you said lo ochal and you do eat it. Ochal v'lo ochal. If I swear I'm going to eat it and then I don't eat it, there's no masa involved there. So we'll see there's no malchus there. But did it b'shogeg, you would be chayiv a korban v'yored. Okay. So och v'lokal is sheker, and shvur shav is achalti v'lo achalti, and he defends it. So in what sense are they the same? That they both get malchus. You get malchus on both. Shvur shav is special chish, you get malchus, and shvur shlo ochel v'ochel, there you sure get malchus because you did something. And if it's lo ochel, and so you can at least get malchus in the case where I swear I'm not going to eat it and I ate it. There was a masa involved. That means that you get malchus the same in both. And isn't it obvious? Well, you might say you don't get malchus there. Like one opinion that maybe you're not going to get malchus at all. Kamashmon that you do get malchus. God will not absolve you, but Bezin will absolve you. V-boy same, or you could say, in what sense are they the same? Shvur shav and shvur sheker. Again, at this point, according to Rav Dimi, sheker is the future, shav is the past. Shemevi korban ala sheker, just like shem shemevi sheker, just like you build korban on sheker. If you did b'shogeg. Kach maybe korban al shvav. You bring a korban al shvur shav also if you did b'shogeg in that sense. Is there really a korban on shvur shav? According to Rav Dimi, that shvur shav means the past. For Rabbi Kivi, the mechayav al shavar kalaba. We're going to have later on Daf Chafei, the Mishnah there says, listen very carefully. This pasuk that talks about lahora lahetiv, the pasuk in Vayikra that we started with, right? That says that if you swear falsely, you swear lahora lahetiv, you have to bring korban al v'yorei. is they only talking about the future or even about the past? So that's a machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Akiva says it applies to the future and the past. If I swear about the future, l'hara lahativ, if I'm going to eat something or I'm not going to do something and I violate that, I'm chayav a carbon or of the yoreh. And the past as well. I swear I did something or didn't do something and I lied about that, even though it's evident immediately. Chayav a carbon of yoreh there too. That's what he means. Keshem shemevi carbon al sheker. Meaning the sheker means the future. Kach maybe carbon al shav. Rabbi Akiva the machayev l'shav klaba goes like Rav Shimon. But again, Rav Dimi's point is that the future is sheker, the past is shav. Not just the past of what saying that the brick is like this brick is made out of gold. No, not just that. Even if I swear I ate something or I didn't eat something, that's also a shvua shav. And you chayav carbon over yoreh according to Rabbi Akiva, and this Gemara is explaining it that way. That's our Dimi lens. Meisvei. Now we have a kasha on this sheet of this shita. Ezui shvua shav. What's shvua shav? Shvua shav is not achalti v'lo achalti like Rav Dimi said, but rather nishba shan sayidua. When you swear to change something which is known, everybody knows that this stone is not gold, right? That's shvua shav. Not shvua shav achalti. See, achalti v'lo achalti. I know if I ate or I didn't eat or I might have forgotten. And it's immediate that it did. If I swear I ate something, I swear I didn't eat something, and I lied about it. It's immediate. I know if you can know if you did it or not. But not everybody knows. That's not yadua. You don't know if I ate a sandwich or I didn't eat a sandwich, right? But shvua shav is nishbal shanas yadua. Something to change what's known to man. To say that this stone is made out of gold. What's shvua sheker? Nishbal hachlif, that I swore and I changed it. Nishbal hachlif Rashi means l'shanas emes b'shvua. Hainu l'shavar. I said I'm changing the past. I'm swearing falsely about something that took place already. Lahachlif, meaning I swear, according to this opinion, shvuas sheker is not the future, but it's the past. I swear about something. See, if I swear I'm going to do something or not do something, it's not a sheker right now. It's only later on if I fulfill it or don't fulfill it. But shvuas nishbah means I'm changed. I ate a sandwich earlier today, and I swear I didn't eat a sandwich, or I didn't eat a sandwich. I swear I ate it and I didn't eat it, or vice versa. I swear that I didn't eat it and I did eat it. Right? That's the hachlif. So what do you see here? That shvua sheker is not the future, but it's the past. Ema nishba machlif. So Rav Dimi will say no. Means nishba, what is shvua sheker? When I swear and then I change it, meaning I swear I'm going to do something and I don't do it. So again, Rav Dimi maintains that shvua shav is the past, shvua sheker is the future, right? But not like this brisa, which says that shvua shav is to change what's known to man, and shvua sheker is to change the past. So Rabin, when Rabin came, Rabbi Yomi, he said, Rabbi Yochanan, they said in the name of Rabbi Yomi, Rabbi Yochanan, achalti v'lochalti sheker. That's the past. Sheker is the past. The same prohibition we brought them before. Och v'lochal, the future, over below yachal dvaro. He says, there you're over on yachal dvaro, because I said I'm going to do something, not do something, and if I profane my words, I'm over on that. And if there's an action involved, then I would be malchus. Vezu is shvua shav. What's shvua shav? Nishbal l'shanas asiyadua. So here, Rabin, who said the name of Rabbi Yochanan, went like the brisa, which says that shvua shav means to change to what's known to man, l'adam, meaning to say this brick is made out of gold. Amra papa. Okay, so we have a different opinion over here. According to this opinion, shvua shav is only l'shanas asiyadua l'adam, which seems to be pretty much the mainstream opinion. And shvua sheker is about the past, and the future you're over on lo yachol, but that's also shvuas bitui, obviously, because the pasuk says the future is shvuas bitui. Amra papa, hadar Ravu. This Ravu said this idea that what that shvua sheker is about the past, not the future. Like Rav Dimi said, shvua sheker is about the future. Rabin said, Ravu said in the when Rabin came, he said the name of Ravu. This Ravu said the name of Rabbi Yochanan that shvua sheker is not about the future, but it's about the past. La b'ferish itmar. He didn't say it b'ferish. El mechalot man. Usually, when the Gemara says he didn't say it b'ferish, it's from some story that happened, and then we interpreted it. They interpreted it wrong. Here, he doesn't really mean that. It means he didn't say it b'ferish in this halacha, but he said it in the answer to a different problem. What's that whole problem? Now the Gemara goes into it. This is all said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yudah Mishum Yosei Glili. So this is Rabbi Yochanan. Let's all these names. Ravidi Baravin said the name of Rav Amram, said the name of Yitzchak, said the name of Rabbi Yochanan, who said that Rabbi Yehuda said the name of Yosef Lili, Kol Os Torah is a general rule. Kol Os Torah, Elos Torah, Lav Sheish B'Maisa. If this involves an action, lo can you get malchus. Shein B'Maisa ain't lo can love. Right? That's a general rule. You only get malchus if you over a prohibition by doing an action. Chutz except 3 exceptions where you get it even for your words. Your words are not considered action. Nishba if you swore. Meimer if you made a tmura. Right, you made a tumor. If you're over on the tumor, you said this animal, this kachim animal should be like that kachim animal. And makalas chavero b'shem, and you cursed somebody using God's name. So those two, the Gemara and Tamura explains about Tamura and makalas chavero b'shem. But you get malchus for that. We're going to explain nishba now. Nishba minol. Where do you know that if you swear, even though there's no action involved, you get malchus for that? Now, we just said before that if I swear I'm going to eat something and I don't eat something, I'm not going to get malchus there. So what do we mean? Where do you say nishba, you get malchus? Amar Kra, the pasuk says, Lo sis Hashem al-kach l'shav. Don't use God's name in vain. Ki lo yinaka, right? You will not be found innocent. In other words, you will not be cleansed by getting a punishment. Bezin shamala ein menakim. Because it says lo yinaka Hashem. Bezin shamala, heaven will not clean you by giving you a punishment. Bezin shamata malchus, bezin shamata will give you malchus. So by giving you malchus, you are absolved of your sin. Okay, so that's the pasuk of Lisa Shem Lashav. What cases? Maybe it means this. This is the question that Rav Papa said about the last line in today's daf that we just saw on Midbeis. So Rav Papa said to him, maybe it means there's no malchus, there's nothing. Maybe this is what Hashem said. You will not be cleansed at all. God won't forgive you, and Bezin won't forgive you by giving you malchus and cleaning you that way. It says, you'd be right. If it says kilonaka, you will not be cleansed at all. Hashem will not cleanse you. Hashem won't cleanse you by punishing you. In other words, he'll just hold it against you. The human court will give you malchus, will give you lashes, and will cleanse you that way. So that's ashkren shua shav, because it says, where do you find that nishba your chayiv malchus? Don't use Hashem's name in vain. This is vain, saying that this brick is made out of gold. That's in vain. So that's shvua shav. Shvua sheker minalan. How do we know shvua sheker? How do we know that shvua sheker, when you swear falsely, you're chayiv, even though there's no action there too? That's what we're saying. We're saying that in general, you're only chayiv malchus if they're on prohibition that you violated by an action, except for 3 cases. And the first case was shvua. So the first case, we said, okay, fine, Kilunak Hashem will find you, but you'll get malchus, even though when I swore that this brick is made out of gold, there was no action involved. I just said it's made out of gold. I swore in God's name. I'm going to get malchus for that because the pasuk says Kilunak Hashem, but Bezin will give you punishment. How do I know shvur sheker? Shvur sheker minolan. How do I get malchus there too, even though there's no action? Because it says lashav shtei pum. It says it twice. Yeah, it says shav twice. Okay, so use it for shvur sheker. So shvur sheker, I'm chayv malchus, even though there was no action. Now we come to prove how do we know Ravu said that shvur sheker is about to pass? What's the case? What's shvur sheker? I know what shvur shav is. That the brick is made out of gold. That's shvur shav. But what's the shvur sheker also that I'm going to get malchus for, even though there was no action? I swear I'm not going to eat, and I do eat. That's lav sheish b'masa. There's masa there. What do you tell me? Shvur sheker. How do I know shvur sheker? Even though there's no masa, I'm going to get malchus because it says lashav twice. Teach me a shvur sheker also. What's the shvur sheker? What is shvur sheker? If it means I swear I'm not going to eat something, that I'm not going to eat it, and I ate it, that's an action. So I'm getting malchus because I was over on a prohibition and I did a masa. I swear I'm going to eat something and I don't eat it. Maybe that's what it is, but there's no action involved. Hi, Mila, could you get malchus for it? We had this in many. We had it in malchus also. I swear I'm going to eat something. I swear I'm going to eat this loaf. Hayom today. I'm going to eat it today. Yom the day passed. I didn't eat it. They both agreed. I didn't do anything. I swear I'm going to eat the loaf. I swear I'm going to eat the loaf today. The day passed. It's now tomorrow, Thursday, and I didn't eat it. There's lav shem b'maisa. I'm not going to get malchus. So there, you're not going to get malchus there. For a shloka shamer ain't a loka. You don't get malchus b'shum tavi hasra suffix. What is hasra? You get malchus is only if we warned you right before you did it, and we said don't do it, and you did it. Well, this is always hasra suffix. When am I going to warn you? Don't do this. Well, maybe I'll do it later on. You didn't do it right away. It's always hasra suffix. Hasra suffix lo shma hasra. So it's not hasra. So either way, they say you don't get malchus. So what's going on over here? It can't be shvua sheker that we say. He's saying, listen, not only is shvua shav chayiv malchus, even though there's no masa because kilo nak Hashem, but it says lashav shav twice, teaching me that shvua sheker also you don't get malchus, even though there was no masa. Now, which cases we talk about? What is shvua sheker? If it's about the future, manav shach. If I swear I'm not going to eat it and I eat it, there's an action there. I'm going to get malchus for that. And it's a lav of course I'm going to get malchus. What's the chiddush that I'm going to get malchus? There's a ma'isa. And if I swear I'm going to eat it and I don't eat it about the future and I don't eat it, then I don't get malchus at all. Both Rabbi Yafan and Rish Lakish agree, and I'm going to get malchus there. You know what shvua sheker is? Where I'm going to get malchus even though I didn't do anything? Achalti v'lo achalti. I swear I ate something and I didn't, or I swear I didn't eat something and I did. So it's as soon as I swore the words, there's no action involved. I just swore I did eat something and I didn't, actually, or I swear I didn't do something and I did. That's achalti v'lo achalti. So therefore, so that's the case. That's how we know Rav Avu said achalti v'lo achalti. This is what he said up above. How do we know that Rav Avu said, name Rabbi Yochanan, where do you get this from? Achalti v'lo achalti is sheker. From this case, because he said, shvua sheker, also you're chayiv malchus, even though there was no masa. What is shvua sheker? It's got to be achalti v'lo achalti. Why do you get malchus over here? Why do you get malchus in this case and about the past and not about the future? Rashi says over here, Maishna, there's a Rashi here, Rashi says, why, if I swear I didn't eat something and I did, or I swear I didn't eat, I swear I didn't eat something, I swear I didn't eat something and I did, or I swear that I did eat something and I didn't. Why over there is there malchus and not about the future? That's what he says. Umayshna, Maishna, Haime Ochel Below Ochel, Habakulu Lavshin B'Maisa same thing. Umayshna, Amrava, the favorite ships of Torah, Shvua Sheker Dumel Shav, because the pasuk said the favorite says Shvua Sheker is the good Shav, right? Because he said Lashav. How do we know Sheker from Shav? Ma Shav Lashav, just like Shav is on the past. Av Sheker Nam Lashav. Even though when I swear I'm going to eat something and I don't eat it. There's also no masa there, and there's no malchus. And over here, when I swear about the past and I'm lying immediately, there's no masa there also, and I do get malchus. Why? Because the Torah said that shvua sheker is like shvua shav. Ma shav l'sha'avar, ma shav l'sha'avar. What is shav l'sha'avar? Shav means this brick is made out of gold. Talking about that was already, right? I'm swearing about something that everybody knows that it's made out of gold. That's a shvua shav. When I swear I didn't eat the sandwich and I did, it's also about the past. Not everybody knows about it. That's shvua sheker. Okay, so this is different than Rav Dimi. Rav Dimi said shvua sheker is about the future and shvua shav is about the past, right? He says no, shav is about l'shanot yadua, and sheker is about the past, and shvua shalocha v'locha about the future. That's also from lo yachel and eisvei Rabbi Yirmiyah Rav Avu shvua shalo ochal kikar shvua zu. Let's say he says, I swear I'm not going to eat this. Shvua shelo ochel kikar zu. Shvua shelo chana, I swear a second time I'm not going to eat it. Shvua shelo chana, a third time. We'll see why he says even a third time. B'ochlen you ate it. We'll talk about it more in a days, right? Or later on in a few days. We'll talk about why I say 3 times. But the point is, once you made a shvua the first time, the second one is not chal. Ain't shvua chal shvua because ain't shvua chal mitzvahs. Let's say I swear I'm going to put on tefillin today, right? I'm going to put on tefillin today. I have a mitzvah to put on tefillin today. So it's not, I'm swearing about something that's already a mitzvah. Ain't shvua chal mitzvah because you're already sworn to that, right? So same thing, if I swear I'm not going to eat this, shvua shaloch lena, and then you swear a second and a third time, and you eat it, you only chayiv one. Ain't chayiv alachas. Zui shvuas bitu. This is the shvuas bitu. Shechad lazon markas v'shegasa kamen al. This is the shvuas bitu. We're talking about the future, right? Zui shvuas bitu shechad lazon markas. If I did it on purpose and chayiv malchus, I'll shgaga charbon all the yored by yikra. Hey, that's the shvuas bitu we're talking about. I swear I'm not going to eat something, and I did it. Zui lemutei. Doesn't it come to lemutei chalti? Doesn't it come to exclude chalti below chalti? Again, Rab and Rav Avu just said that chalti below chalti is shvuas sheker. You're going to get malchus for that. Doesn't it mean that this is the one you get malchus for only in the future, not about the past? Like you don't get malchus. You're not chayav a carbon over there. Why? Zuhi the al shagasu. This about the future. You're chayav a shgaga carbon of yore, right? You're carbon of yore. Aval achalti v'lo achalti about the past. Lo, you're not chayav what? You're not chayav a carbon, right? Rabbi Shmuel, Damar ein chayav ela al asad lava. Aval milkaluk, you get malchus for that. You see, you get malchus for that. Again, it says on the past, you get malchus for that. Why? Because shvua sheker is like shvua shav. Just like in shvua shav, you didn't do anything, you get malchus. Where I talk about the brick being gold, where I swore I ate the sandwich and I didn't eat the sandwich, or I swear that that I didn't eat the sandwich, I didn't eat the sandwich, just about the past, you get malchus over there. But why over here it's mashma that only about the future there's malchus and carbon yored? No, about the future there's malchus and carbon yored. About the past there's no carbon. Why? Because it goes like Rabbi Shmuel, Damer ein chayiv, that you're not chayiv a carbon on you're only chayiv a carbon on the future, not about the past. But malchus there is. This is like Rabbi Shmuel, not like Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva says you're chayiv a carbon. The Shavuos B'ti we're talking about V'yikra Hey that talks about chayiv a carbon is both on the future and on the past. Rabbi Shmuel over there says that's the mission of Chafei. You're only chayiv on the future a carbon, on the past you're not chayiv a carbon, but there is malchus there. There is malchus if you did it on purpose. All right, Amos Sefer, we'll pick up this tomorrow from another base tomorrow. Mitzvah. It's really middle. We've already done half of tomorrow's stuff. Tomorrow's a short day. Interesting also that the carbon is only on the carbon in Mar says only on Shvuah. When are you chayiv a carbon olav yorei? Only on a shvua. Now we're discussing when are you chayiv a carbon on the shvua? Only on the future or even on the past? That's a machlokas between Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Shmuel. But you only chayiv a carbon on a shvua. On a netter, you're not chayiv a carbon. Netter is only a chayiv malchus, but you're not chayiv a carbon.
See something basic here.
Yes.
Yeah. If I make a shvua that I'm going to put on tefillin today.
Yeah.
You say the shvua is done how because
you already first sworn.
I don't understand why that's not a shvua shav.
No, that's the definition. That's a shvua salam mitzvahs. That's a shvua on a shvua. Shvua, it's not a shvua shav. Shvua shav means it's a lie. Shvua shav means a lie. It's a false. It's a lie. That means that this is a lie. If I say this is made out of gold, that's a lie. And if I say I ate the sandwich and I didn't say, that's also a lie. But one lie is evident to everybody, right? That this is not made out of gold. The other one is not evident to everybody. But that's what we're saying. Shvua shav, pretty much everybody agrees. But Rav Dimi didn't agree with her. Rav Dimi said that Shvua shav is about the past, Shvua shek is about the future. But Rabin doesn't agree with that.